Hello, thank you for being here. This is the first day from the 3 days in a row that I will be live, and I do have different teams, but the team today, it is sexuality and spirituality, and I want to share it from 2 points of view. First of all, my own experience, and secondly, all of the sessions that I have had since I started giving readings and healings, I think 2015. And I studied psychology, and then I studied many things. And from all of my experience, if you have questions, join me. If you would like to know a little bit more, or just receive a healing at the end, please let me know if the sound is good. If you would like to not have your questions, I would like to give a few minutes for you guys know that I am alive and be able to read your comments. And something that I want to say, I remember that I studied psychology in university, and I was in first semester. We were going through a work, like final exams, and we were run through statistics about abuse. And they say that 3 or 4 persons have experienced a type of abuse. And I remember that I was shocked. Of course, it doesn't have to be sexually completely. It may be emotionally. It may be physically, it may be mentally, but it's something that happens regardless of if it should happen or it shouldn't. It happens a long time ago. If you go beyond what happened in history, even 200 years ago, women did not have rights. You couldn't vote, you couldn't have property, and then men will choose for you. Maybe in another timelines that I have remembered that we don't have in history, men were the one abused. So abuse, it's not only about a gender or an age or a race. It could be in general ways. But in this case, I want to talk from the perspective about spirituality, because there are some teams that sometimes we do have. And let me see if I can read your comments. Give me, you guys, a second, because Facebook is constantly changing the dynamic from the streams. And give me just a minute, and please let me know if the sound is good. Give me a minute, and I'm waiting to see if I can see your comments. And hold on. Okay, great, Anna, thank you. There is no right and wrong here. It will be according to what a soul chooses to go through. So should you be sensual or sexual, have a type of sexual connection, and be spiritual at the same time? Yes. Or maybe you can choose to be celibate, and that will be a good choice too. It will depend on what you're going through and what you feel is right for you. Some people will choose to just work in the control of the body and go celibate. I have been celibate in some time in my life, and it's a choice that's equally valid to exercise your sexuality. Now, when you're spiritual, because sometimes I have had sessions with persons that they no longer feel that they wanted to have anything sexual because they are in spirituality. It will depend on what you prefer and what feels right for you. And if you have any questions beside them I'm willing to answer from my intuition or get answer from your guys. But they can go along the way. When sexuality, it is practiced, whether for yourself or with a partner. And I'm not talking about tantric or ritualistic things. I'm talking about being comfortable in your body, feeling okay regardless of the form, of the shape, or the way it will look. That is a type of meditation where you connect with your soul, your spirit, your body, and it's blissful. And that could be a type of exploring your own sensuality. It actually not entangled with lust or vulgarity or any of that. It could, according to the preference of someone, but not necessarily, because it's more like a connection. At least from what I have experienced. I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't learned about tantric or anything, but I know, because I remember from my priestesses' lives kind of how it feels like. I have remember bad experiences in ritualistic lives, not in this one, but in past lives, about how it can go wrong, and in another ones that it was honorable and performed with sacredness. Yes, that depends on where we are. First tip that I would like to give: if you feel drawn to explore your sexuality in whatever way that feels right for you, don't open your channel unless you ask your higher self to be in charge. There are many things going through. Sexual energy, it's powerful. It's very powerful. That's why it can be misused, and it can be used for dark purposes and dark agendas, because it can connect you to the source like that, as if maybe you could do any natural medicine, maybe like a ayahuasca, to have like 5 minutes or 15 minutes to have your connection with the source and go like very quickly and then come back. Sexuality or sensuality could do the same thing, but there are layers upon the spectrum in which it is sacred or it isn't. I don't open it unless I say my higher self, you are on charge. I do practice it. I have had times that I have not practiced it. So go with whatever feels right for you. But I have practiced in a way that I don't open it unless, like, the way I will channel. I will ask my higher self, I will be clear, I will tune into my body, I will honor it in a way that feels right for me. And you don't always have to get someone else invited to your own experience, but if you do, it must be someone that matches the same respect and honor and value and love or passion or whatever you are streaming, because you become one with that person that you share it, whether you do it in your energy or in your physicality. And this may be applied to men. We are different in a biological female body and in a masculine female body. When you do things energetically that happen in sexuality, it's completely different from what we think it is. But when you have, how do I say it? Because it is a fine line between going intimate and going vulgar. When you practice make love with someone, physically or in your spirit, that can have with a twin flame connection, you merge your souls, especially in a masculine body. It's like when they complete that, it's the rising blissful sensation, I want to say it in this way. They actually explode themselves into millions of pieces of their soul, and that is seated into the woman that they were thinking on them, right? And as a recipient for me, what I have seen it is that I am like the soil in which my beloved will see those. It's like crystals of fragments, if it was done with love, that represent like extra life force that he can like donate to me, which it's normally, for me, it feels like it's like an honor, right? It's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful that it's pieces of his soul that's been given to me. But then in the female body, it will multiply equally, and then you kind of like bloom and flourish, and then it goes back to them. So when I saw that the first time, I said, oh my God, persons that go out and have that exchange with different partners and different persons just because you have the physical need don't know actually that you are exchanging your soul, and you exchange your soul with every other person. That person has exchanged themselves because it's all at one time. Yes, we don't need to know exactly. It's not something that you should be afraid of to explore if you feel drawn to. But there are certain boundaries that you should set, because it's like actually giving your soul away, right? So in the way that you share it with your beloved, at least in my intentions, I'd like to share that with someone that I know he's going to respect and value my soul equally that I value me. It's not giving to anyone. It's like giving the keys of your soul to an stranger. Like, hey stranger, I just met. Do you want to have the keys of my house? I'm just giving that to you. You don't do that. Why you're going to do that with your life force? And this is the awareness. There is no right and wrong, because there are persons that, even though they are aware that you exchange more than just a physical act, they do it because when that person gives that soul to you, you have more life force. Yes. But it will depend on your values, your core values, your morals, your principles, and what you should think you should do. You don't necessarily have to share it with anyone. You could just honor your body, your space, and then the source in you, that's it. But it will depend on how you would like to experience. Let me see if I have any questions, and drink a little bit of water. And okay, I don't have any questions. So tips. I'm in a female body. I sort of figured out how in a masculine body it will be like. You guys can correct me and add your own comments about it. I'm happy to learn, as long as it's all being respectful. Guys, be very aware that from whom you fantasize when you have your actual sexual experience, you share your soul with, because energetically a part of your consciousness travel to her or him or whatever, and that person, if that's accepted, will have a piece of you. If you think on 4, 5, 6, 7, then you will divide. That's why sometimes when men finish, they need to kind of lay down, because they are restoring their soul. It's not because just of the physical act. Energetically, you guys fragmented. That's why sometimes yogis used to go absent of the sexual exchange, so they could just keep their soul within. So there is no right or wrong, because it's a beautiful thing when you find someone that respects you, that's value, that honor you with love, with care, and you can have all. You can have passion, sensuality, love, intimacy. You can heal each other, and that's a beautiful thing. Or just keep it for yourself. That's depending on what you would like to do. I know there is a lot of things online about what you should do or not, but I think the best ritual is just go what feels right and ask your body and ask your soul, should I do that? if I should, in which way I should, and then go into what feels right in your own unique space. When we look upon what others do, we copy someone else's recipes. And maybe someone else's recipe will be designed for that someone else's. But what about me? I create my own recipe, right? Let me see if I have your questions. Is there a way to recover that energy? That's a great question, Carla. Yes. You call upon all of the pieces of consciousness that you have done, and you ask your higher self, your guides, whoever you trust of the light, Archangel Michael, Jesus, that when that energy comes to you, comes clean and purified. And just into your heart. You can cut cords with exes and previous partners, but be aware that it's all happening at the same time. So one version of you will be still connected with that person, but it may not be available in this time and place. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna try to reframe myself. Let's say that each finger is a piece of me, right? And this is me and my ex that we cut course for the great good. But in other timelines, I may have benevolent experiences with him. Maybe as a father and daughter, maybe as partners, maybe in a relationship, maybe brothers or whatever. So maybe I cut course sexually here, but what about the others? Yes, we don't know, and that's okay because it's part of the dream we are here. So ask your higher self, have a POC in your spirituality that you trust. You can go to a healer, but you can do also this for yourself and say, hey, I may not be aware exactly if I have course, if someone is having a fantasize with me and my energy is going away to the trash. Can I cut course with whoever? I shouldn't have that connection open from any lifetime, from any energy, physically, mentally, in the body or whatever. And then you can do a meditation. You can do it yourself. You can use crystals. You can use light language. You can use sound, anything that you feel drawn to. Sexual energy is great for creation. It's amazing. That's why it was being used in our ancestors for ritualistic stuff. That's why Tantra was created. And priestesses use it like a lot. But everything has a spectrum of harmony, between this harmony, and it's like two pieces of the same stick. Just find what middle point is what works for you in this timeline. So set your intention and then ask what the highest outcome it is. And then trust that it's going to be done. Shadi is asking, how do I consciously direct to make my sperm energy up to my spine? Well, you have to have, and if someone else knows and can correct me, because I have a female body, but because I'm very blended with my twin flame, I sort of feel what a physical masculine body will feel like. And this is how I imagine, and it coming that you should do it, Chad. You actually don't come, but you have to control that you send it back to you into whatever areas of your body that's needed, because it's like a liquid medicine for us. And actually, the female liquid, when you finish, it's like ecstasy for both. Even if you do it in your mind, you exchange your hormones. Sometimes you see your DNA. Sometimes I see, it's like channeling your body. And it could be a beautiful experience. So ask that it goes into whatever part that it should go. And then your Kundalini flow in layers. Sometimes it blocks into the heart, sometimes it blocks in the throat and the plexus. But then every time you practice it, it will go up, up, up. And when it goes into the crown, you kind of hold it. You hold it and you place your awareness into other parts of your body that feel blissful and comfortable. But you place aside the sexual fantasy. Yes, because that is what will take it into vulgarity, right? Or lower that frequency. Maybe that sexual fantasy that you feel attracted with your partner, your beloved, it's just like the open door to tune in, and then you just disregard it. But when you tune into what your body can feel, and then you ask your body to enhance what you are ready for, what's available for you, and ask your body to teach you the way, what do you need? But you explore yourself. This is, I think, the best way to do it. I actually have no idea about tantra practices, but for me, it's all about sensing what feels good. It's not just about your sexual organs. It's about your whole connection. It's about feeling okay with your shoulders, your hands, your eyes, your throat, your feet, your hair. And then not stepping out of your body, because that feels so good either. But just like being in your body, and it's more like saying, oh my God, I love my body. I love to be here. I'm not attached to the shape, to the form, to the age. I just want to feel good in this moment. And you don't have to have a culmination either. You can stay there for hours if you want to, and then come back and then enjoy every moment. Because that energy that does not only come from sexual exchange, can be from gazing at the sun 6 a.m. in the morning and breathing and saying like, oh my God, it feels so good. I have so appreciate the warmth, the oranges in the sky, the freshness of the outdoors. And then it's like, oh, that's good, right? And it can come because maybe you're eating something, maybe you're drinking water, maybe you are doing some Reiki on yourself, and it's sometimes meditations can be blissful. We confuse that with sexuality. It happens to me at the beginning. I wasn't sure exactly, and then I was freaking out because I said, I cannot meditate. I got like, but it wasn't like that. It was a Kundalini frequency that it was flowing through me. For me, let me see if I have any other questions. I will set chat to just explore it. Explore different ways to see what feels right for you. And good morning, Carla. Chat. Thank you all for being here. For me, I needed some time to place aside anyone else's after going through abuse. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Look, when I was, I think, 13 or 14, I was sexually harassed by my stepfather. I wasn't physically, but my consciousness did not care about the physicality. Maybe just a touch on the back or on the arm or on the neck. It was enough to feel that it was invading my space. And mentally and emotionally, I felt abused my whole life, which created disconnection from my body. I know there are different degrees of abuse. It could be abuse because someone said, oh my God, you're so stupid. You're not worth it. Just go away, right? Words can be knives sometimes. It could be actually someone in your space. Like maybe you are in the groceries and then in the line someone is too close to you, and I sort of feel like step aside. That's my space, right? It could be many different degrees. Maybe you could feel abused because someone look at you with lust, and that is like no. Or maybe it can actually happen not only as a female but actually as a male too. I have had cases. Regardless of in the degree that happened, it can cause a effects and distortions at different levels. And I'm not going to get into details because it's a delicate theme, and I want to try to talk it with elegance and respect for everyone else's feelings, regardless if you agree or disagree. But for me, I think it was part of my mission to restore something that happened in my family for eons and in other lifetimes. So it's just like a taste. So I will feel abuse, and then I could transform it into what I'm doing now. And part of studying psychology, and then part of studying English teacher, and then all of the certifications that I have done after, it's part of being able to transmute. For a person, one act can cause that something broke within you. Not actually abuse sexually in many regards, maybe an assault, maybe a shooting or something, right? And when that happened within, I think we have to find a way to inner reconcile with that part of you that felt broken. Regardless of if the abuse or the wrongness was sexual or not. Maybe it is that your mom and dad give you an adoption. Maybe, I don't know, something happened to you. If you ask any adult, we will all have inner child traumas. Who doesn't, right? But the traumatic child don't have to be the traumatized adult. Why? Because I think we deserve to live a good life, whether that it is. If the 60% of your life feels good, then that's enough, regardless of your inner desires and goals and what happened to you. Because everyone else will have challenges, and there are challenges in the world, and maybe it will keep going, but we grow stronger and we go wiser. And when you do that, it's like you vaccinate yourself in a way that you go immune to all of those things. And I knew I completely healed that because I feel like a few months ago, I said, Gretel, we're not even physically abused, you just escalated the thing for so many years. And I just felt like I could, I don't know, have a dinner with my stepfather if he will be alive, and I'll be okay to give him a hug and say thank you for whatever you provide to me regardless of that situation, because I was able to forgive not only myself, but actually whoever else was involved in the same situation. That forgiveness is not something that comes easy, and it may not come in one meditation or in one healing session, because with one act, you can have many pieces of you that are broken up. For me, and I'm talking on that, let me see if I have a question, if I miss any question. Okay, Karen says, letting go the guilt, the shame can unlock the sexual energy of, oh yes. And I was gonna talk about that. Oh my God, you're reading in my mind. I think for me, I felt like the injustice. I felt upset. It felt like it shouldn't happen. It felt like, how do I say that? Disappointed, I think. And then I felt disconnected to myself. And then I feel guilt, shame. Maybe I say, maybe I allow it. Maybe I did something wrong. And then you begin to look for whose fault was it. But it's no one's fault, because we all are in the same dream, in the same illusion. And I do want to believe we all want to do the best. Maybe the majority. And sometimes in doing your best, you can mess up stuff. And those wrongs and mistakes are lessons that help us that we can do better. And maybe your wrong is an addiction. Maybe your wrong is that you're lazy. Maybe your wrong is that you're not authentic enough, or whatever that it is. So all of those shadow aspects just teach us that there is a better way. But in that better way, we have to try and try and try what feels right for us, regardless of what someone else's wrong could have done or not. I was asking about my guys about spiritual ethics, and I asked in the group because it's part of the team that I'm going in through the love language training, and my guide said something like, we do have spiritual ethics even though humans are transparent to us. And then they say that a spiritual boundary it is that I pay more attention into what I think and feel than placing my awareness upon everyone else. And I was like, what does that mean? It took me like a while to compute that in every situation, it's easy to judge and critique and place any judgment upon what someone else could have done better. But when we place upon ourselves in this regard with love and kind and gentleness upon that feel shame and guilt and dirty and broken or whatever, we can inner reconciliate. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do it with a coach or a specific healer. Ask yourself, what do I need to do to make peace with whatever aspect of myself that feels like I just want to hide it under the carpet, right? Meditation, it's a great idea because even if we don't have the balance enough to go through your shadow, little by little you heal. Light language is also great because it goes from your unconscious and then it reprograms your brain with allowing you to have neuroplasticity, which means you grow new pathways. So you're consciously saying, oh my God, I didn't understand, it just felt so good. And that's healing too. Maybe listen to your favorite astrologer or whatever will inspire you to inner reconciliate. And I'm saying this because yesterday, the 7th week, Venus entering Cancer, there is a lot of changes in twin flames, a lot of people broken up, getting married, meeting the new person, and at the same time, there are things happening in this collective that should not happen anymore, that we may read in the news about human, transhuman, and sexual distortions, Hollywood, blah, blah, blah things. That, I think, the change that I can create is from my experience, from what I learned with each and every one of you. Share a little bit of awareness with you guys. If you guys feel inspired, maybe you guys will go and talk to the ones and with my kids as well, and the persons that I can share what I could have done better. And let me see if I have any other question. If I miss any question, please type your question back. For me, guys, when I enter in Facebook, I joined a Facebook from domestic violence survivors or something, and I was there for a while. But one day I said, I leave, and I remember that the president of the Facebook group, he reached out to me privately and said, well, why do you leave? You're very active. And I said, because I don't feel identified with that anymore. When I heal, I feel like it was no need to keep bringing that up. Like it was not necessarily. I said, I want to be remembered for something else. I don't know what that is, but I don't want to be in the coffin and everyone talking about how I was abused, right? I want to be remembered because I have other things too. And at that moment, Encoded Fiku wasn't part of the plan, but regardless of what you do with your life and what has happened before, every time we go back in time and remember, we keep opening those wounds and then we begin to bleed. It takes courage and kindness and compassion to forgive. Maybe the bastard did not deserve your forgiveness, but do it because of you, of yourself. You deserve to feel complete regardless of whatever happened in your illusion. There are ways to recognize control and abuse. For example, it's going to be something that they don't let you choose for yourself. Like, for example, let's say that someone, partner, family member, friend, or whatever, because abuse can be very subtle, that can be unnoticed. Let's say that someone wants you to do something for them, and the person is an abuser, narcissistic or something, and then you said, no, I cannot do that. And then the person is gonna say, if I were you, I will do that for you. You are not doing the thing you should, right? It's going to be gentle, interwoven with manipulation, control, restricting what you want, taking away your freedom to choose, stepping on top of you. But at the same time, what we can do, we can say, no. It doesn't feel right to you, whether that is sexually or not. In your boundaries, it's okay to say no, because no, it's self-love too. Saying yes is actually self-love too. It will depend on any circumstance. But no one can take your freedom, your respect, your worth if we don't give them or grant them that permission. That abuse mainly happened right here. It's a sort of a game that you feel you cannot escape, but that's not true. We can always have a way to say no. Now, energetically, I do think something that I have learned is those things should be restored in the physical. Sometimes the restoration is going to be denouncing into the agency that it should be. Like for me when at that age, it was all hidden. It shouldn't be a secret. It should have been take it to the authorities. That is the rightful way to do, because we have to put order in that timeline. And many of those things, they are hidden under the carpet, regardless of the degree that it should have. Yes. If you have any situation that happened to you that maybe you cannot go and tell it to the authorities and make it right legally, maybe you can do a letter and divorce yourself from that situation and cut that cord in that contract in whatever way, so anyone else in your family have to go through the same thing, and then disconnecting from that situation. Maybe energetically you can do and then say, hey, this is the authorities, this thing should not happen. So spirituality in some moments, guys, is going to be all about praying for others, meditating for others, doing the best you can. But in another moment, it's going to be about this no happen no more, because I won't allow it, because it doesn't make sense to be love and light and then see things that happen but not doing anything, because it's not our business. We will know when we actually need to do something physically, or when you can just do it energetically. Use your intuition. But the most important thing, and with this I would like to share with maybe 2 minutes of meditation to heal anything that could be released, that can be granted for forgiveness, is everything that we see outside is a reflection from within. I'm not saying that at my 13 years old it was my fault, but it's all connected. Maybe it was no one's fault, but I was responsible to keep that suffering for more than 20 years, until I gave myself cancer and then homeless. And then I began seeing angels out of the blue because I lost completely faith of life. And that was in 2014. That the universe intervened on me so I would do something beneficial in my life, because I kept myself hooked with what I thought shouldn't have happened and the way I wanted things to unfold, blaming everyone, including me, about a situation that in a way we were all victims. So there is a technique in Buddhism that's called Tonglen, that from your heart you send love and healing to whatever wrong was done to you, but through asking healing for whoever random person went through the same thing, that you don't feel resistance, because sometimes you don't have to go in through the abuser and then grant forgiveness. But maybe you can say, hey, I cannot, and this is just an hypothetical example, I cannot talk to my mom because my mom abandoned me. I cannot forgive her, but maybe I can pray for whoever else in the world was abandoned by a mom, that can be restored in divine order. I don't know if that makes sense. You don't have to do the healing directly if you're not ready to forgive, but you can do it for a random person if it's meant to be, through your higher self and the part of you that's divine, that knows everything, that has all the answers, so you can bring healing from that situation in any way or form. Yes, I'm gonna drink a little bit of water. If you have any questions, go and type them. I'm going to be live tomorrow for another talk and meditation. In this moment, just bring your higher self in. We're gonna do it just for a few minutes. Imagine that you are being bathed in white light, literally, like a shower of light, and see your hair, your head, your eyes, your mouth, cleansing your neck, your spine, your chest, your abdomen, your hips, your legs, your feet, every part of you. And let's ask your higher self to be in charge, your divine teams, your own guides, your spirit guides, your God, goddesses, angels, and whoever it is, the highest and best, the easiest and the most qualified energy for come true. And let's ask the source, dear source, please activate yourself in me. Cleanse, wash away any veils of illusion that restrict me from experiencing my true self. Wash away whatever feels pain and heavy, that place me aside from a life that feels good, so I can be okay with everything that it is in and around. And just keep sensing, imagine you can sense like drops of light flowing through your body. Now I'm going to do just a minute of light language, just to cleanse any aspect of you throughout space and time. Any part of your consciousness, physically, emotionally, mentally, any space, any intention, any connection. So everything could be purified through the light of the source. Via se korobati ase tiara korobari ashka. Breathe in the light, breathe out, and say, I release. Breathe in and begin to receive and receive life force. And now call upon the light. I would like to invoke all of the light that I have gave away, that I have shared consciously and unconsciously in this timeline or in any other, all of the higher aspects and every aspect to unify through my universal consciousness and come back to me as seeds of life force that will grow and expand effortlessly throughout my day. Try to breathe and notice any proof that you are connected with the source. This is just the source and you. Nothing external, just the source and you. Your own guides, your own consciousness, your own higher self, your own body, your own spirit, your own soul. And let's just breathe in and out. And ask your body to guide you and teach you in which ways you can be friends and comfortable, regardless of the way you look like, the shape, the age, so you can match the same desires, taking care of each other. And then imagine that you hug yourself, including the parts that you dislike, that felt wrong, the ones you don't want to even look at, the ones that you may reject. And seek love. And maybe you can say something that I'm willing to learn how to be comfortable in my space, the way I am, the way I have been, with all of the things that happened to me. Because every experience is a seed of wisdom. It's part of my journey, the legacy in this lifetime. And I give them gratitude for all that I have learned, and being open and eager to enjoy the journey ahead with ease and grace. Disregarding any wrong places, wrong persons, wrong choices, and only tuning into what it's meant for you, what's rightful and in divine order. And with that, breathe and imagine you absorb all of the light of the source as if it is money, and treasure it like something you enjoy and feel so pure, like very special in the temple of you. Because your body is the temple of the source. And source can create planets and universes and flowers and sunshine and music and love and babies and puppies and forests and all these magical things. And all of that, it's seated within you. And that's special. We're all special. We're all a miracle. Regardless of whatever says about you. Regardless of what you think you are. Regardless of what society says the measurement of beauty should be, or balance. Unless you find beauty because of how much light and peace and love and wisdom you have in your life. And with that, beloved source, if there's anything that I'm ready to let go and unhook and unblock, I give that to you now. And I'm open and willing to keep finding ways to waking up more and remembering who I am in my body, in my life, in my reality, the persons that are around me. Asking that I adjust every relationship so all that it's given from me can come back in reciprocity and mutuality, knowing that sacred light is being exchanged in every moment, all that is around. And with that, Let's feel appreciate for this moment, this space. And let's reclaim all that belongs to you that can be instantly given through codes that are actually electrical pulsation in your body. And with that, I want to say thank you for being with me tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time in Facebook. I will just show up for wherever it will be the team. If you feel guided to do these sacred sexuality workshop, it's not going to be a tantric thing. Don't worry about it. It's going to be about healing whatever parts feel abused or rejected, whether through a narcissist relationship or actually abuse in any way or any form. And I do have a coupon discount for this week. It's going to be available if you type Encoded 77737. You can have 50%. You can PM me for any questions regardless of. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for sharing with me the space. It was good. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.